What's up, everybody? This is your girl CC with Where It Begins Magazine, and we have a special guest with us today. I'm gonna let him introduce himself of who he is, what he does, and where he's from.
Hey, everybody, this is Garrick Jones, former professional football player in the NFL, the CFL, and the IFL, business owner, philanthropist, doing a lot. It's good to be here today.
Well, we're happy to have you. Well, tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are today.
It's been a long road, like I said, I started out early on as an entrepreneur, back in high school, started my business in the ninth grade. Graphics and marketing, promotion, branding, those types of things. Had the opportunity to play D1 college ball at Arkansas State because I'm from Arkansas originally, North Little Rock. So I've always took the long road. I didn't have a senior season of college ball, but still made it to the NFL. I chased scouts from Little Rock, Arkansas, which is my hometown, to LA, and then from LA back to Mobile, Alabama to the Senior Bowl. So I've been around, I've climbed some mountains. Less than 1% of all athletes make it to the NFL, and I did. But that's because, I willed myself into it. I manifested it, and I understood where my blessings were coming from. So I just made it happen. We put it together and put the feet on the pavement and made them respect what it is that we were doing. So now afterwards, I started my own developmental football league, which is the SDFL. And now I've put that into my cryptocurrency project, which is FanCentric, where we want to bring the fans into this situation. And we start getting into some ownership and doing it the right way. So I'm all about disruption. I'm all about bringing people in and educating them. And at the end of the day, raising that economic ceiling for us all so we can get to this generational wealth because it's time.
Amen to that. But you also have a book, right?
After the Lights. Yeah, we're still working on it. We're still working on the book. I'm constantly adding chapters, right? Because it's going to be a series, just kind of detailing my life, and also bringing other players in so they can kind of get chapters of what they're doing now, as opposed to where they started. And it's one of those things that's been evolving for so long. I got a few things on the table when it comes down to the books. We got some movie situations coming out, but the foundation has been set. So now it's just leveraging everything that I've done on the field to bring all these things to fruition. And that's the beautiful thing about where we are. We're in a very good place to really put some things out there and make some things happen. So, the book is coming, biopics, and everything else, the documentaries. You name it, we got it. We got it working.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question. Like, what are some of your goals, or what do you want to accomplish this year for 2022?
I think exposure. And when I say exposure, it's exposing us to, all the different practices that go on a daily basis. And then once that exposure is there, it's education. And it gives us a chance to even that playing field. There's a lot of things that I wasn't privy to coming from the hood, from back in the day, that I'm in these rooms now. And if I would have known these things early on, things may have been different for me, from a financial standpoint. I might not have had to play football and put my life on the line and all those different things like that, because football was never my first love. I was always into music, art, those types of things. So if I had to do over, I probably would have, taken that route, as far as, my longevity and my quality of life, if I had known a lot of different things. So I think exposure, that's what 2022 is about. And then after that is the education of, from the things that you get a chance to see, learning all the different practices financially, and making some things happen. So for me, it's all about exposure.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I agree with you on that. Exposure is a big key in this world of entertainment business anyway. But I am a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Okay. Here we go.
So it's a pleasure to have you on there. But how was the experience like, playing for them and being on the team? What would be one of your memorable moments playing with them?
Realistically, it's the NFL is a job, right? Me being from Arkansas and having ties to, a lot of the things that were going on with the Razorbacks, even though I went to Arkansas State, I grew up right around the corner from where Garrick Jones, his old stomping grounds. So there's always been that relationship, in business and everything else that goes on in North Little Rock, because it's so small and compact, concentrated. For me, the experience was tremendous. Is once you get in and you get a chance to see it and really be inside of the beast, you find out really quickly that it's a job. It's a job, man, and you fighting for your job every week, every play, because there's always somebody coming in every Tuesday to replace you. So there's not really any job security. It's a wonderful game, but a terrible business. But once you really get into it and see what it's about, you really figure out, okay, this is something that the works is just starting. I've done all these things to get here, but once you get in there, you're like, hey, now it's time to really buckle down, because they're bringing somebody in. Like I say, every day, every year, somebody's coming to replace you. So you got to hang on to their job.
Mm-hmm. So I guess being in the NFL and everything, what was some of the challenges that you had to go through?
Like I said, to go back to it, it's an intense experience, right? It's a job, it's stressful. Granted, guys are getting paid well. A lot of guys aren't getting paid what they're worth, and those are the things that I learned in my time in the NFL, to see the amounts of money that are generated, by these teams and what they're paying guys, and after you're done, how that works, how you have X amount of years of healthcare. Then after that, it's kind of, you're on your own, all those different things. So it was a learning, it was eye-opening. A lot of people don't, like I say, it's exposure, right? A lot of people don't understand or get a chance to see everything that goes on because they're on the outside looking in. Don't get me wrong, the experience was great, because you get the chance to meet a lot of good people and have those relationships and have those teammates for life. But along with that comes the stress and the pressures of being there. And I know a lot of people will say, man, I'll give anything to be in that position to make that type of money. But along with that comes that it's a heavy crown, man. It's a heavy crown. And then you're on the bottom of the totem pole still, when it comes down to the hierarchy, when it comes to the money. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people don't get that. So that's where this whole educational aspect comes from. So, but that was it for me, just learning. I was like, wow, I didn't realize this when I was fighting to get here. But once I got there, I said, okay, now I get what I need to do. And I understood the assignment.
I understand that. So about your new business, what are some things we can look forward to from that perspective?
When it comes down to FanCentric, it's really I think a holistic approach on what Green Bay did back in 1923, with the shareholders and the community being able to have ownership of the team per se. We wanted to take that a step further, and we wanted the athletes to have a piece, the fans to have a piece, and we just bridge that gap between everybody, and just turn it into a rewards type of community, from the digital space, where everybody can be a part of this. And everybody can have rewards. I think what Green Bay did was great when it comes down to the foundation and the thought process of it, but it needed to be tweaked, and it needed to be brought into this millennium, where we can really, get a lot of people into what we're doing, as far as these cities that will have teams, these countries will have teams, and just turning this thing into a global phenomenon where once you get in, you're exposed, then you're educated on everything that goes on, and you understand, how teams are ran, what goes on with the athletes, and you're not just a fan showing up, and being entertained for a few hours and then you go back home. We want you to know what's happening. And those are the things that we're doing, bringing all these athletes to the table, for the NFTs and the different things that we have on the table for the fans, where we all benefit from it and we all learn from it and we all get a chance to raise our economic ceiling. I think that's the thing that we add to what Green Bay did back in 1923. But we just, we're working this thing and working this angle each and every day, because the crypto space changes so quickly. We want everybody to be comfortable in it and get a chance to understand it and benefit from it. So that's where we are with it.
Okay, and how can they sign up for it?
Well, right now you can go to the website. That's www.fancentric.co. And you can actually Google hashtag FanCentric, and everything will pop up. And you guys will be able to see what we're doing, be a part of the Telegram groups. We're about to start a Discord group. And then from there, once we actually launch our NFTs and tokens in the community, everybody will have that opportunity, just from understanding what's going on with the website and being directed where they needed to go. We want to make this thing as easy and as seamless as possible. One thing that we really found out when we really got into it was there's so many steps to purchase certain cryptos, to be able to purchase cryptos. So what we wanted to do was be able to, like I say, bridge a gap and make that as seamless as possible, where it may be 1 or 2 steps as opposed to 6. So those are the things that we're working on right now, the key partnerships with ARC, StarCard, our situation with the Ape Network that we're working on right now. We have a lot of different things that we'll be bringing to the table for everybody. So the biggest way and the easiest way to keep up with us is just search us. Google us or whatever search engine you use. And that's FanCentric, #FanCentric, and everything will pop up. So.
All right. Well, we like to always ask our guests to drop some gems. Is there any advice that you could give to the audience right now?
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I think a lot of people lose sight of that. In times of turmoil, in times of not understanding or whatever goes on in life, you have to prepare, no matter what. If you're not working, you're watching. And that's my thing. I'm always working. I encourage and I challenge the people around me to continually work to get better, and just do that on a 1% basis every day. So by the end of the year, you're 365% better than you were at the beginning. And just eat this elephant a bite at a time, man. Life is life. Understand that there's nobody perfect, and there's no perfect situation, but what you can perfect is how you react to situations. And that's what this thing is about. It's about us just making a way out of no way a lot of times and having fun while we're doing it, because we're here for a short amount of time. But just stay ready. I mean, you got to be ready for your moment. If you're not ready for your moment, somebody else will step in that spot, and you don't want that to happen.
That's facts on facts. If you could talk to your younger self right now, what would you tell them?
Oh, man, no regrets. No regrets. Do everything you're going to do, live life, and learn from it. If I could go back and say certain things, I'd say just stay on the same path, because I know you're going to make it. I know you're going to be successful. I know you're going to have heartache. I know you're going to go through it. That's life. That's part of the deal. A roller coaster is a terrible roller coaster if it doesn't go up and down. So that's life. It is what it is. It's part of the deal. And that's a part of your life's gumbo, if you will. You need all those ingredients for it to be good. So live, do you, have fun, and go through what you're going to go through, but know you're going to be okay.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So out of all of your accomplishments, goals, and everything that you had in your career, what is one of your most greatest accomplishment you had?
Oh, man, I'd say if I had to, categorize it like that, I would say probably making it to the NFL, even though that's, I got a lot of them, things that I've done, but making it to the NFL the way I did, that was the most gratifying for me, because I wasn't drafted. I wasn't highly touted. I didn't have that senior season of college ball, but I knew I was supposed to be there. And I knew once they saw me, they would think the same thing. And that's exactly what happened. But yeah, I would say making it to the NFL just because of the odds. I mean, I'm not supposed to be, I wasn't supposed to make it, and just odds define. That's what it's all about for myself. Some of these rooms I'm in, I'm not supposed to be there. Let them tell it. But once we get in there, they figure out real quick that, okay, I'm supposed to be here. So same thing with the NFL.
Okay. So what tips can you give to athletes then that will want to be in the NFL, or they're, getting ready to go to that point?
I would say work on your brand. Your brand is going to outlive you. So work on that and understand that you're going to be a retired player far longer than you're going to be a current player. So it's not for long. It's one of those things where you get in, and if you're able to, and you're blessed enough to do that, utilize that for what it's worth. Have fun and play the game and go through your ups and downs, of course. But understand that you got to leverage what you've done and leverage the fact that you had the shield on your back and the emblems on your helmet in order to do other things after you're done. Because when you're finished, you're actually more valuable at that particular point, even though somebody isn't cutting you a check as they would have in the NFL, but you now have time to really cultivate who you are and really make that mark and leave that social impact. So for the athletes that are trying to get to the NFL, understand that everybody can't go. The NFL can't house everybody, but 100% of those guys are going to have bills, babies, and problems. So let's start working on those things now. Get your brand together and get your foundation going when it comes down to what you're about, what you're looking to do, and your focus, and make yourself undeniable when it comes to them. You know, that's on the field and off the field. You got to win on both playing fields, and that's the deal there.
I understand it. Well, let's get to know you a little bit better. What's one fun fact about yourself?
Fun fact about me, man. I would say, to go back to what I said earlier, I'm into music. I have produced, I write, I engineer, I do all of that, right? You know, so that was my first love. So music for me was my first love and will always be. So sports, you know, NFL was my side hustle. I tell people that all the time, like that was the side deal. So music, I love it. I love putting it together. I listen to any genre. It doesn't matter. If it moves me, I'm into it. So that's a fun fact about me.
Okay, all right. So out of all the places you've been in the world, what has been your favorite one?
North Little Rock, Arkansas, my hometown. My hometown. There's nothing like it. I've been all over the world, you know, in my profession and what I'm doing now, and there's nothing like my hometown, for the simple fact that my hometown instilled this work ethic in me. You know, watching my folks work and watching my family, you know, everybody doing what they were doing, and then the amount of growth that is about to happen there. And I'm happy to be leading that charge because I've seen some wonderful cities. I've been in some wonderful cities, and I want to take some of those vibes back home and give that to the people, and that be part of my legacy. So North Little Rock is where it's at.
All right. So let's go back. I got a couple of more questions before we go into our game. So you say you did music and produce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you look for when you're trying to find that talent?
Honesty. You want somebody to be honest, genuine, transparent, you know, in what they're writing. It doesn't matter the genre. You want it to be real and authentic, right? You want it to be organic. Those are the people that I like to work with, and I always have. I make it a point to work with people who are different, you know, people who are, like I say, it's all about being genuine. No carbon copies. You know, you weren't put on this earth to be a carbon copy. So when that is what's going on, it shows in the music, and we don't do that. Not where I'm from. So.
Okay. All right. So what do you think is missing in today's music airwaves right now?
I think thoughtfulness. I won't say that, you know, people aren't putting a lot of thought into what's going on, but taking the time out to really know yourself. You know, if there's a certain genre, a certain sound you want to hear, a lot of times people kind of stray away from that and go with what's popular, and they lose themselves in that whole deal. And before you know it, their time is gone. So music is supposed to be timeless. It's supposed to be something that you can listen to forever, and people still get it. And I think the dollar, I think the popularity and the fame, I think a lot of what goes on in social media today has, you know, really put people in the mindset of a microwave mentality, and they want it right now. And in order to have a full meal, you got to cook that with an oven. So it takes a little time, and it takes a little more genuineness and just a lot more thoughtfulness when it comes down to music. So I think that's what's missing. But you know, everything's in cycles. It'll come back. It just, you got to have the people that are trailblazers and say, hey, listen, this is what we're doing now. So either follow or, you know, get left behind, and that's where we are.
So what are some advantages and disadvantages of the internet and how it impacted the music industry?
It's like money, you know, it'll amplify the best and the worst things out of people. Same thing. That's basically what it is. The internet is there for you. You know, if you want to further education or whatever the situation may be, you got the whole world at your fingertips. And depending on what type of person you are, it'll expose that, you know. And in that exposure, you'll learn who you can win with and who you can't win with. And when you have people that look at it like that and say, hey, look, it's not a bad tool. It's not the best tool, but you learn who you can win with and who you can't win with. You know who you need to put your time, energy, and effort into. I'll put it to you like that.
Okay, all right. But before we go into our fun fact game, is there one message you would like to give your fans right now?
Just be you. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be articulate. It's okay to have an understanding, but never be the smartest person in the room. I always look to grow. I always look to challenge yourself. I always look to have people around you that inspire and challenge you. And things will pan out for you once you start doing that, because once you hit a ceiling, you got to figure out a way to break through that ceiling. And that's how you do it.
Facts on facts. All right, so usually me and my co-hosts give you one question apiece.
All right.
If you're not on here, I'll give you two questions.
There we go.
Okay, so I like to ask all my interviewers this because I get different answers each time. But if you could change places with one person for one day for 24 hours, who would it be and why would you choose that person? Just for one day.
One day. I would say Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because he was a pioneer, trailblazer, somebody who, stood up for what they believed. And in doing so, had a lot of adversity when it came down to that. A lot of people tend to stay in a moment that's comfortable, but there's no growth with comfort. And for me, comfort is earned. And I believe he earned the level of comfort he had, even though he went through what he went through. I think I would change places with him just to kind of see what that was and what that felt like, to be on the front end of something that can change the world when it comes down to thought processes and things that you do, because that's all I know. I don't know anything other than trying to make history or changing the dynamic of, this and that, and to be in that position. I think that would have been a very interesting time to be around and going through those things. So Muhammad Ali is for me.
Okay, all right. So the second question is, if you was the president, what would be the first thing you change?
Oh, for me, first thing I change is, how we deal with our people here. It's good to go help people in other countries, but we got problems here. So, I'm a firm believer in taking care of your house first and making sure you're good. So that would be a platform that I would run on and I'd stand on. I'd stand on that hill, to make sure that we're okay, make sure people are in a better place financially, and then also education-wise, so they know what to do with the money. So that way we would truly be a superpower. Once you got all these people here and they're flourishing in business, everybody's going to look to us like, hey, we need help, or we need to do this, or how did you do that? And then we can go out and teach. I think I would take care of home first if I was president.
Okay. All right. See, those wasn't hard questions.
see, it's real. Like, hey.
Facts on facts on facts. Yeah. But do you have any upcoming projects or any upcoming events that you want to share with us?
Just the FanCentric movement, man. It's happening. We've been at this for about 1.5 years now, going on roughly 2. And we're making some headway. We've had a couple of bumps and bruises when it comes down to lunches, but that's a part of this game. The fact that we're looking to educate everybody is really what this thing is about. And then we'll spin off everything from there. My developmental football league will be a part of it. We have a couple of fantasy football teams, esports, we'll have some real estate tied in there, some digital assets. We're going to do a lot through FanCentric. So for me, that's the baby. And everything else is kind of following off that, and really making sure that, when it comes down to athletes, that they're in a good spot, with what we're doing with RSW Capital. We want to be able to take them from A to Z, work with puppies to pros, and also the fans, and give them a better foothold, a stronghold on what's happening, in these markets, and everybody make money with what we're doing. I mean, it just makes sense. It's time for us all to eat. So we're in a good spot.
All righty, and there you have it. Well, tell everybody where they can follow you.
Oh man, you can catch me everywhere. you can go to Google or whatever search engine you use. Just type in Garrick Jones, and some will pop up. Some will pop up on LinkedIn, Facebook, IG, Twitter. You know, I'm all over the place. I'm not hard to find, guys. Very accessible. If somebody reaches out with a question and it's a viable question, I'll answer, you know, and we can kind of talk through some things, and I can point you in the right direction when it comes down to mentoring or whatever the deal may be. But just search me. I'm out there. I'm easy to find. I'm not hard to find.
All y'all gotta do is Google him and he pops up.
So I'm gonna pop up. Right.
But I definitely want to say thanks for interviewing with me today. It's been a pleasure to get to know you and your journey. And like I said, you became a fan when I said, oh, he played for the Dallas Cowboys. So. And thanks for letting me do the article on you for where it begins. It's just been a pleasure. Yes.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you.
No problem. We appreciate you too for dropping your gems. And like I said, I'm a fan here. You gain a fan with me, and I wish you nothing but success for 2022. I can't wait till you finish your book, because I'm a bookworm, so I definitely buy it and get a signed copy and everything. So whenever that do drop, please let me know. So
absolutely. Absolutely. I'll let you know.
All right. Well, you have a blessed day today and be safe out there.
All right. You too.
All right. Have a good one.